Good afternoon, Stuttgart Reds fans. We're about to start the second game here in the weekend of the Hünstetten Storm against Stuttgart Reds. It's a beautiful day today in the ballpark, and we wish you were here, but we are also glad that you've tuned into the live stream, and we're glad to have you. Stuttgart Reds are warming up for the top of the first inning. Pitching today is Dustin Ward. He is throwing to Yannick Witt. Playing first is Moritz van Bergen. Second base is Janis Weber. Shortstop, Xavi Gonzalez. Third base is Moritz Kühler. Left field is Danilo Weber. Center field, Jonas van Bergen. And right field is Yannick Witt. We also have DH today is Daniel Abiles. Last night, final score between Stuttgart and Hünstetten was 3 for Hünstetten and 5 for Stuttgart Reds, so they're moving into today looking for a win again. First batter for the Storm is number 2. Vincent Velasquez. He's playing shortstop. In last night's game, he was 1 for 3. And he scored 1 run. First pitch of the game is a ball for Dustin Ward. Left-handed pitcher out of Arkansas. Has been with the Reds for a few seasons now. Batter looked to maybe show a bunt. Moritz has moved in a little bit toward the batter. He saw the bat movement as well. 2-0 on the batter. And first strike, 2-1 is the count. The baseball Bundesliga is now moving into the second half of the season, so it'll be interesting. Now it gets a little bit more pressure. Last night, Polanco played left field. Today, he is playing third base. I'm sorry, that's his, that's his number. He's catching, as I said. Another foul ball. He seems to be right on Dustin's pitches. Now he just needs to put it into fair territory on the swing. Count is no balls and 2 strikes. He's being very aggressive in this at-bat against Ward. Ward checks the runner at first. Looks like that ground ball took a big hop, took a long time to get down. Janis Weber played it very well, waiting for it to come down, coming forward, fielding the ball, throwing it off of his opposite foot, kind of MLB style, and getting the out at first base. Jose Pimentel does move to second base, but there are now 2 outs for the Stuttgart Reds, and that brings up number 96, Victor Velasquez, and he is the one playing third base, in today's game. Last night, he was 1 for 3 in the game with 1 RBI, and he had 2 walks. First pitch is a ball. There's 2 outs early in the game, so neither shortstop or second baseman seem to be working to hold the runner at second base. Xavier Gonzalez maybe talking a little bit to Pimentel on second. 2 balls, no strikes. There are 2 outs, but there's a runner on second, also known as scoring position. We'll see if maybe the batter could hit it through the infield. And that is ball number 3. 3 straight balls to the batter. Stuttgart Reds has 2 brother pairs playing on the field today, and the Hünstetten Sturm also has brothers. So the first batter, Vincent Velasquez and Victor, they are brothers. That's 1 strike for Daniel Ward, bringing the count to 3 balls, 1 strike. Swing, a broken bat. It's a slow ground ball to the first baseman, Moritz van Bergen. Able to field the ball cleanly, step on first base for the 3rd out, and the end of the top of the 1st inning. So we are moving into the bottom of the 1st inning, and we'll go through the defensive lineup for the Hünstetten Sturm. Pitching is Ian Hardman. Catching is Matthias Polanco. First base is Robert Vondi. Second baseman is Jose Pimentel. Third base is Victor Velasquez. Shortstop is Vincent Velasquez. Left field is Phil Meyer. Center field is Matt McElroy. And right field is Rogelio Maldonado. And if I mispronounce any names at any point, I apologize. But bear with me. I'll probably pronounce every name with a German accent just because that's what I'm used to on a day-to-day basis. So after the warm-up, that brings up the leadoff batter from the Stuttgart Reds for today's game, Xavi Gonzalez. In last night's game, Xavi was unfortunately 0 for 1, but he did reach on a walk and scored 1 run. And his first pitch is a strike. Xavi is one of the veteran players here for the Stuttgart Reds. He's been here 1 season longer than I have. Caught up in what I think was an off-speed pitch for strike number 2. Next pitch is high and outside. Trying to use the advantage of an 0-2 count as a pitcher. You're way ahead. You're going to try your best not to give them too much over the plate. You're going to try to hit your corners as best as you can. I think that ball went behind Xavi. He just barely got out of the way. Brings his count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So pitcher still what we call ahead in the count with 2-2 because he already has his 2 strikes and he has 1 more ball or kind of a pitch to work with in order to get Xavi Gonzalez out. We'll see what he comes with for this pitch. Hard pitch right down the middle. Xavi hits a hard ground ball. Second baseman is able to range into the middle. Makes a unbalanced throw, which the first baseman was unable to catch or stop. Thankfully, the catcher was making his way up the line to become a backup for that throw. That put Xavi Gonzalez on first. I believe that will be an error given to the second baseman, Jose Pimentel. We'll see. Yep, just got on the board. So with runner on first base, that brings up the number 2 batter for the Stuttgart Reds, number 42, Daniel Abiles, who is the designated hitter for today's game. First pitch is a strike. Daniel and Xavi turning, looking at third base coach. No balls, 1 strike. Runner on first base. Ball high. Brings count 1-1. First baseman's holding Xavi Gonzalez at first base. Next pitch is also a ball. Looks like there may have been a steal or hit and run on. Xavi Gonzalez was going full speed on the pitch. Fouled off from Daniel Abiles, bringing the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. More signs. coming from third base coach. In last night's game, I do not have what Daniel Abiles did. He did have 2 RBIs in the win, so 2 of the 5 RBIs. Big swing, fouls it off into the net. Abiles lives to see another pitch. Good job protecting the plate with 2 strikes. And like I said, the pitcher can kind of play with him at least for 1 more pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Checking over his shoulder, Xavi Gonzalez, and he throws it back to first base. For those of you who are not aware of the differences between baseball and softball, we have a lot of the same rules as far as 3 balls or 3 strikes, 4 balls, and those things. Ball is popped high in the air to the right field foul line. The right fielder ranges, is under it. Unfortunately, it drops in and out of his glove. Seemed like he was ready to make a throw right before he caught it. Bad luck for Hünstetten, good luck for the Stuttgart Reds. Daniel Abiles gets to see 1 more pitch, at least 1 more pitch, against the pitcher Ian Hardman. And like I was saying, baseball and softball are very similar. Softball is predominantly played by females. Of course, in Europe and other places in the United States where I come from, there's different leagues and different levels. There's fast pitch, there's slow pitch. But we do not take leads like in baseball. We're not allowed to leave the base. And that is a looking 3rd strikeout for Daniel Abiles. That brings up number 7, Danilo Weber. He's playing left field in today's game. Turns, looks for signs. A little clap comes from third base, says, hit away, let's go. We need some runs. But as I said, softball, we don't take leads in the way that baseball does. We are only allowed to leave the base once the ball has been released from the pitcher's hand. First pitch to Danilo Weber is a ball inside low. We still have a runner on first base, but we do have 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. The runner is going. Big swing to try to protect the runner, but it did not protect him. Xavi Gonzalez is tagged out on his steal attempt. So that is now 2 outs for the Stuttgart Reds. Batter is still Danilo Weber. He has 1 ball and 1 strike to his name. In fast pitch softball, when we want to steal, we're allowed to leave the base when the ball is released from the pitcher's hand. No sooner, and we try not to be any later than that. Next pitch is low. Catcher held it there for a little longer. See if he could get the call. Umpire still thought it was a ball. 2-1 is the count. 2 outs, and there are no runners on after Xavi Gonzalez was caught stealing. 3-1 is the count for Danilo Weber. And that is ball 4 for Danilo Weber. He will jog out to first base. That puts him on with 2 outs, and that brings up the first baseman, Moritz van Bergen. As many of you know, Moritz is one of our young guys on the Stuttgart Reds Bundesliga team. But as an outsider, I would say he definitely holds his own in this team. First strike is a Our first pitch is a strike. We'll see if the Reds stay aggressive on the base path. See if we put in maybe another steal, hit and run. Ball is fouled off, out of the grand. Oh no, bounce back in. No balls, 2 strikes on Moritz van Bergen. He's behind the count quite quickly here against a tough pitching Ian Hardman. Danilo Weber not taking a huge lead at first. Big swing, unfortunately a miss for a swinging strike 3 for Moritz van Bergen, leaving 1 runner on base. That is the end of the first inning. The score is 0-0 as we move into the second inning. And welcome back. For those just joining us, maybe we are in the top of the second inning. Beautiful day here in Red Stadium, Stuttgart, Germany, where the Stuttgart Reds are taking on the Hünstetten Storm. First batter here in the top of the second is the center fielder, also number 8, Matt McElroy. First pitch to him from Dustin Ward is a strike. Big swing, hits it hard into right center field. And center fielder Jonas van Bergen able to call off the right fielder Yannick Dents and makes the catch for the first out here in the top of the second. Next batter for the Storm is number 44, Robert Vondi. He's playing first base. In last night's game, he was 0 for 3. We'll see if he can get his first hit in the series today. First pitch is a ball. Next pitch is a strike. Catcher froze, batter froze. I don't know if he didn't think it was a strike or he's mad at himself for not swinging, but brings the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Next pitch low inside for ball number 2. Umpires for today's game, behind the plate is Tim Meyer, and in the field is Patrick Meister. Unfortunately, due to family reasons, we have 2 umpires for today's game. Next pitch was also a ball, brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. There are no runners on, and we have 1 out. Ball's hit hard to the shortstop, Xavi Gonzalez. He's able to field, make the throw for the second out in the top of the second inning. And that brings up number 31, Phil Meyer. He's playing left field. He did not start the game last night. He came in a bit later, had 2 at-bats. Unfortunately, no hits. First pitch to Philip Meyer is a strike, or Phil Meyer is a strike. Next pitch is seemingly inside. Yannick Fitt turns, chats with the umpire, wants to see where the zone is from the umpire. It's still early. Pitchers, of course, want to pitch their own game, but there can be adjustments and should be adjustments made to the umpire and his zone for the day. Next pitch is also a ball, bringing 2 balls and 1 strike. And that's strike number 2. 2-2 count. Ward has at least 1 ball to work with. Ahead in the count. Swing, ball, choppy, hard ground ball to the third baseman Moritz Kühler, and he does get the out. Nice stretch from Moritz van Bergen at first base for the 3rd out in the top, and we move into the bottom of the 2nd. Let's see if Stuttgart is able to get some hits and some runs.
Woke up in the morning, what a beautiful day. Sun's up and you're on your way. You make me feel so fine. Water sparkling on your skin, children laughing as we sing. Run around and round we go. Ooh, life, I love you so. Na, 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 na.
Moving into the bottom of the 2nd, first batter for the Stuttgart Reds is right fielder Yannick Dentz. And as we move into the bottom of the 2nd, just want to say hello to all those who have written in the Facebook chat. Good morning from Albuquerque, New Mexico, from Stuttgart, and all the places you may be watching. We're glad to have you. Glad you tuned in to our broadcast. And we hope today is a great game to watch. So far, not bad. We've had some runners on. Things have happened. Yannick Dentz, hits a hard ground ball directly at the first baseman, but it must have hit something on the ground right in front of the first baseman because it popped up over his head, and that is a strong feat because the first baseman looks pretty tall from my vantage point here in the tower. Either way, that is a base hit for Yannick Dentz in the bottom of the 2nd. Gets us started, no outs. Brings up the next batter, number 69, Moritz Kühler. Ball is hit hard. First pitch hit hard directly at the right fielder. Yannick Dentz takes a good lead. He wants to watch and see if the ball goes past or if it is caught. He gets back. 1 out here for the Stuttgart Reds. That brings up the catcher, number 6, Yannick Witt. Pitch, big lead from Yannick Dentz. Not quite sure what the play was, but catcher was almost able to throw him out at first base after the pitch. Batter Yannick Witt has 1 ball, no strikes. Yannick Dentz takes another big lead. And the pitch is a strike. 1-1 is the count on the batter. That is a called swing. I believe the pitch was okay, but I believe the strike call was on the attempted swing / attempt to hold back from Yannick Witt. Another throw down to first base. Yannick Dentz able to get back in time. Yannick Dentz is one of the faster runners for the Stuttgart Reds. Ball is thrown in the dirt. Catcher makes a good scoop. Fake throw down to first, keeping Yannick Dentz on his toes. Count on the batter is 2-2. Yannick Witt is hitting .208 so far on the season. Like I said, we're over the midway point. Now is where the season gets interesting for baseball Bundesliga. Softball Bundesliga is also roundabout middle of the way. We are just had about a 2 to 3 week break. There were a few under 18, I believe also an under 22 tournament where the softball national teams were present for Germany. Pitcher not taking any chances with Yannick Dentz on first base today. Another pickoff attempt to first base. 3-2, 1 out, and again another pickoff attempt. Like I said, this is not a normal occurrence in softball. If there is going to be a throw to first base or second base, it is after the pitch is delivered. No leads in softball, which tends to make our games move a bit quicker. We have a pitch clock that the umpire kind of keeps in their head. Ball is hit hard to the shortstop, choppy ground ball, thrown to second base for the first out, and they are able to turn the play and throw Yannick Witt out at first base for the end of the second inning. And we move into the top of the third. First pitch from Dustin Ward, high ball. Brings up the next batter for the Storm, number 53, Rogelio Maldonado. He's playing right field. Made a catch in the last defensive stand. Next pitch is a strike. 1-1 is the count. Swing fouls it directly back into the net. I think he got a few of our spectators who were sitting right behind home plate. A few of them jumped. Thankfully, the net is there. I don't know if I'd want to sit in the first row of our new stadium, but it is beautiful. Nice off-speed pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. First strikeout on the day for Dustin Ward. First out in the top of the third inning. That brings up the designated hitter for the Storm this afternoon, Yannick Kiss. Ball low. Ball 1. Kiss saw an appearance as a pinch runner in last night's game. Next pitch is a called strike. Ball hits a bit of a blooper right behind second base. Janis Weber able to get there, makes the catch, talks to shortstop center field. Nice defensive movement from the Stuttgart Reds. You have the center fielder coming in, you have shortstop second base, both moving toward the ball. Janis Weber calls them off, able to make the catch. It's 2 outs, and that brings up the top of the lineup again with Vicente Velasquez. Ball low inside, first pitch. Unfortunately, Dustin Ward seems to be getting behind most of the batters he's faced. First pitch ball. Next pitch, also a ball, nice dig by Yannick Fitt, catcher. 2-0 is the count. There's 2 outs, nobody on base here in the top of the third inning. For those of you who are not, nice pitch, strike 1. For those of you who are not privy to the format of Baseball Bundesliga this year, when there's a single game, they're playing 9 innings, and if there is a doubleheader, then it is 2 7-inning games. So today, because this series, 1 game was played last night and 1 game is played today, we're going to be playing a 9-inning game. 3-1 is the count, 2 outs. And that is a strike. Keeps Dustin Ward alive. Full count, 3-2. Dustin Ward able to work back from 3-1 count. Ball hit hard. Unfortunately, drops in the outfield in front of the center fielder, Jonas van Bergen. A bit of a blue pit, well placed. Good swing for a full count. That brings up the number 2 hitter in the lineup, number 99, second baseman, Jose Pimentel. He reached in the first inning in his first at-bat on base on ball, so he walked in the first inning. We'll see what he does now with a runner on first base. There are 2 outs. Big swing. He hits it hard, and that is a home run into the trees in left field. His teammates pumped. Jose Pimentel taking his time running around the bases. I think he's soaking it up a little extra because he did play with us last year here in Stuttgart. So with 1 runner on, that's a 2-run home run, bringing the score to 2 for Hünstetten Storm. here in the top of the third. Next batter fouls it off for the first pitch is Victor Velasquez. He's playing third base. Excuse me, that brings up Matias Polanco. He's playing, or he is catching today. He hit a ground ball to the second baseman in his first at-bat. His count is 1 strike. There are 2 outs, nobody on after the bases clearing home run from Jose Pimentel. Nice off-speed pitch. Does not catch the strike zone, unfortunately. 2-1. Ward would like a different ball. Umpire with a pretty nice arm, throwing it out to Dustin Ward on the mound. I guess the ball helped. 2-2, foul into the net. Hard hit to left field. Danilo Weber is able to track, makes the catch, out number 3, but damage has been done here. Hünstetten Storm able to score 2 runs in the top of the third inning. We'll see if the Stuttgart Reds have an answer for it in the bottom of the third. And we are starting the bottom of the third inning with the center fielder, Jonas van Bergen. First pitch, strike. Looked pretty good to me. Steps back in. I don't have the stats for Jonas in last night's game. Might be able to find his season stats. Ball in the dirt is ball number 1. 1-1 is the count to Jonas van Bergen, who unfortunately is hitting under 100 so far for the season. Seems to not have found his groove. But the good thing about the Bundesliga season is they play each team home and each team away. So you have 4 games against each team each season. And so at the halfway point, they've played 16 games. There's 8 teams, so you've played 7. So about 14 games in each half. Still have plenty of games to work on the batting average as teams move toward playoffs and playdowns. His count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. We all know that Jonas can hit. He's just got to believe it. Ball in the dirt to the backstop. 3-2 is the count, full count for Jonas. He's at least working the count well. Three, 2, no outs would be great for Jonas van Bergen to make it on. And swing and a miss. Out number 1. And that brings the second baseman, Jannis Weber. Ball bunted or first pitch action. Unfortunately, first pitch and an out for Jannis Weber. Trying to find stats on the pitching from Ian Hardman this season. He has started 4 games, pitched 11.2 innings, 14 earned runs in those 11.2 innings, which brings his ERA to 10.80. There are 2 outs. That brings the top of the lineup back up for the Stuttgart Reds, Xavi Gonzalez. We'll see if he can get on base here for the Stuttgart Reds, see if they have a 2-out rally and can answer the 2 runs from the Storm in the top of the 3rd. As a softball player, I like to think of little games within the game. So each inning is a tiny game. So the first and second innings were both undecided, 0-0 for both teams. So here in the 3rd inning, this 3rd little game, the Storm is up 2-0. We'll see if Stuttgart can answer here on a 2-out rally. But that first starts with Xavi Gonzalez getting on base. His count is 2 balls, no strikes. Next pitch is also in the dirt. They're working low on Xavi today, or at least in this at-bat, working low. He did have a choppy ground ball to second in his last at-bat. There was a throwing error which allowed him to get on base. Unfortunately, was then thrown out stealing on the attempt. Count is 3-0. Normally this is we're going to take this next pitch because the pitcher just threw 3 balls in a row. And there is the 4th ball, and that is a walk for Xavi Gonzalez. And that brings up the next batter, designated hitter Daniel Abiles, who unfortunately struck out in his last at-bat. This could be his moment of redemption. We'll see what he does. Base hit is always good. A walk is also good. Of course, you're going to be a little cautious. Pitcher did just throw 4 balls in a row. I believe 3 of those 4 were in the dirt. There's another one. It gets by the catcher, goes all the way to the backstop to the gate. Xavi Gonzalez is able to advance to second base. Puts him in scoring position for Daniel Abiles. Coming into today's game, Daniel is hitting 250. Fouls it off into the net. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's 2 outs. Xavi Gonzalez is on second. Like I was saying, Abiles is hitting 250 right now on the season. On base percentage is .315, slugging .333. He is called on a swing. He wanted it, but then he decided he didn't, but he wasn't able to hold back. He did break the wrists. The home plate umpire did call it a strike. One and 2 is the count on the batter. Designated hitter for Stuttgart today. Ball in the ground. Have to give kudos to the catcher for the Storm. He's doing a great job this inning, keeping those balls in front of him. Yes, there was the one pass ball where Xavi Gonzalez was able to move over, but considering how many balls he's gotten in the dirt, although we're not exactly sure what pitches he's calling from his pitcher, but he's doing a good job behind the plate. Big swing, hard hit to left field, over the head, and it is over the fence. And that is the answer from the Stuttgart Reds here in the bottom of the third. 2-run home run from Daniel Abiles. After the 2-run home run, we now have the left fielder number 7, Danilo Weber. And we'll see if he can continue the 2-out rally. Fouls that ball directly into the net behind home plate. It's not so often where the answer to the top of the inning is the exact same thing in the bottom, but it's impressive. Nice hit from, and a nice at-bat from Daniel Abiles. Another foul ball. Strike number 2 for Danilo Weber. Danilo is hitting 273 on the season, and that is a called third strike and the third out here, which ends the third inning. But it was an exciting third inning. Both teams able to hit 2-run home runs, so it's a new ball game. Third little inning was still undecided as we move into the 4th inning. And we're back for the top of the 4th inning. Score is even. 2 for Storm, 2 for the Reds. First pitch is a strike. Number 96, Victor Velasquez, is playing third base today. He did ground out to the first baseman in his first at-bat. Next pitch is a ball, gets away from the catcher. Rolls toward the backstop. 1-1 is the count. Big swing and a miss for strike number 2. Three, 2 is the count, full count. Full count for the batter. We'll see if Dustin Ward has an answer to the 2-run third inning. Unfortunately, that is a base on balls and a walk. Putting a runner on with no outs. That brings up the next batter, the center fielder, Matt McElroy, who hit a pop fly or a pop out in his last at bat. First pitch, nice strike on the outside corner of the plate. Ball is hit high to left field, and it hits the fence, but just in foul territory. So that is a long strike. Strike number 2. Dustin Ward way ahead in this at bat. No balls, 2 strikes. There is a runner on first base, so he's always conscious. As a left-handed pitcher, he has the advantage where he can kind of look up and look straight at that runner on first base, whereas a right-handed pitcher has to look over their shoulder or make a full pickoff attempt, or a much larger foot movement. Ball 1. Ball inside. Batter is backed out of the way. 2-2 is the count. Runner on first base. Signs are given. We'll see what Hünstetten has up their sleeve here for the top of the 4th inning. Big swing, high fly ball. Looks like it's going to land in between, and it does. Well, fortunately for the Reds, that is a very hard ball to be a base runner. This is called the Bermuda Triangle. Second base is going out. Center field and right field are both coming in. The sun was a huge factor in that. Unfortunately, nobody called, or I don't believe anyone seemed to call it. It dropped right in the middle. But because it dropped, that means the runner from first base has to go to second base. But it's a very hard ball to judge. Normally you're going halfway, a little more, a little less, depending on where the fielders are. It's a bit of a tactic. Runner is going on the first pitch, and he is safe. And that was the first pitch to number 44, Robert Vondi, first baseman. He grounded out to shortstop in his first at-bat. Like I said, that's a very tough situation for that runner on first base. Once it hits the ground, it's a force, and he's got to go. And 90 feet is a long distance between bases to sprint in a situation like that. But now the Storm with the stolen base on the last pitch. They have a runner in scoring position. Kind of like that pop fly never happened, unfortunately. They do have one out. That is a strike from Dustin Ward. The count is no balls and 2 strikes. Runner on second, Dustin Ward looking back. He does step off. He wants to make sure that that runner is staying as close to second base as possible. So showing the runner I can step off. Big swing and a miss. That is a very important out for the Stuttgart Reds here with a runner in scoring position. That brings up number 31, Phil Mayo. He's playing left field, and the first pitch is a strike. We'll see if the Storm can get a 2-out rally going here. They already have the runner in scoring position. See if they can maybe keep going with the momentum from the top of the 3rd inning. 2-run home run from Jose Pimentel. Ball hit hard to the 3rd baseman. Catches and throws. Moritz van Beringen able to stretch, move up and over into foul territory to make the catch, keep his foot on the base for the 3rd out, and the end of the top of the 4th. No runs, runner left on second base. And we're back for the bottom of the 4th. This 4th little game, it's 0-0. Let's see if the Reds can win this 4th little game. First batter is number 30, first baseman Moritz van Beringen. First pitch was a high ball outside. 1-0 is his count. As far as momentum goes, this would be a great time for the Reds. We'll see if kind of their... Well, actually, Moritz is the number 4 hitter, so we'll see if he can go in, get on base, and see what kind of the bottom half of the lineup can do behind him. 0-2. I'm sorry, I misspoke. First pitch was a strike. Sorry, I looked at the scoreboard instead of my trusty Reds TV scoreboard. 1-2 is the count. We'll see if Moritz can battle, stay alive. And that is a called strike 3. I don't think Moritz liked it. Umpire did, and that is the first out here in the top of the 4th. And that brings up the right fielder, Yannick Dentz. He did single in his first at-bat. Ball 1. Yannick Dentz had a game-winning hit last weekend. And we'll see what he's got here in the top of the 4th. Wouldn't be necessarily game-winning, but it's always good to accumulate runs early on in the game. Ball fouled off to the right side into the net. Bounce back in. If I'm reading the stats correctly, Dentz has the second highest batting average behind Moritz van Bergen of the regular starters for the Stuttgart Reds this season. His count is 2-1. Normally a pretty patient batter, likes to go deep in the counts. Nice. There's a good eye from Dentz. Ball all the way to the backstop. Or pass ball all the way to the backstop. 3-1 is his count. And there's some cheers in the stadium. Fans are getting a little rowdy here for Dentz, and that is ball 4. Nice at-bat from Yannick Dentz. That brings up number 69, Moritz Köhler, the third baseman, also one of our young guns for the Stuttgart Reds Bundesliga team this year. Ball is hit, choppy ground ball to the third base sign. Moritz is quick, and he is safe at first with an infield single. Moves Yannick Dentz to second base. And the Reds are hopefully stringing together a few hits to get a few runs here in the top of the, or excuse me, in the bottom of the 4th. May not have been the most beautiful hit, but it still goes into the scorebook as a single. Everyone looking to third base for signs. Runners on second and first. That brings up the catcher, number 6, Yannick Witt. First pitch to Witt is a strike. Signs coming from third base once again. Runners on base taking their leads. They are not being held by any of the infielders. Pitch is delivered, ball high. Of course, shortstop and second base, they're talking with each other. They're moving around a little bit. They've adjusted their position. They're a bit more in, I guess you could say, and they're playing a little bit more. Ball hit hard. Ooh, to the left fielder. He is not able to catch it. It's rolling behind him. There is one run in. Moritz Köhler is held at third base. And Yannick Witt makes it in for a stand-up double. And that is another run for the Stuttgart Reds. Nice hit from Yannick Witt. With one out, runners on third and second. That brings up the center fielder, number 26, Jonas van Bergen. And pitcher steps off. I think they are deciding to, they are. So the Hünstetten Sturm have decided to intentionally walk Jonas van Bergen to load the bases. There's one out. Interesting decision. So that's pulling their infield in. So first base, third base, they're playing a little farther forward than they would normally if nobody was on base or the runners were in different positions. Second and shortstop are also playing in. That brings up number 8, second baseman Janis Weber. First pitch is a ball. So the beauty of an intentional walk is you can be very strategic, but now that puts a little bit more pressure onto the pitcher, Ian Hardman, that he has to deliver strikes. He and his catcher have to deliver a good rotation of pitches. So now the count is 2 balls and no strikes to the batter, Janis Weber. Intentional walks are well and good and can be used well, but what comes after the intentional walk, there's always a little bit more pressure, even on the softball side. I've had many an intentional walk in my career here in Germany, and then it puts a bit more pressure on your defense and puts maybe a bit more pressure onto the batter that's behind you in the lineup. Although it's not every day that we have a hitter so deep in the lineup that is intentionally walked. And this is where it comes to bite them in the butt. 4 straight balls. A walk is issued, and that means that a run is walked in. And now with 1 out, that brings the top of the lineup for the Stuttgart Reds one more time. Shortstop, Xavi Gonzalez. And it is a wild pitch pass ball. Unfortunately, the catcher not able to handle it, scoop it up. Maybe I jinxed him. But that brings in another run for the Stuttgart Reds. It takes off the force play at home. So there's a runner on third, runner on second base. 1 out for the Stuttgart Reds. Score is now 5-2. Xavi Gonzalez has 1 ball, no strikes. Fortunately, that's what the catcher wished he could have done on that previous pitch. Scoop it up right after he hit the ground. I think it did hit the plate, which creates a little bit more of a bounce, a different movement off the ground. The coach pulls in the infield, so now we have shortstop and second base playing right up on the grass. It's hit directly to the third baseman. He's able to catch it. Jonas van Bergen unfortunately committed too far down the third base line, and he is not quite caught in a rundown because it was just in the one direction. Unfortunately, that is out number 2, so fielder's choice for Xavi Gonzalez. Not a hit, but he does reach base. Janis Weber stayed on second base the whole time. I'm not sure if coach kept him there or if he decided. So we now have 2 outs. That brings up number 42 designated hitter Daniel Abiles, who was the answer to the Hünstetten Sturm in the bottom of the third. Hit a 2-run home run. He comes up with runners on second and first. 1-0 is his count. Ball low for ball number 2. Three, oh. Count. Ian Hardman seems to be struggling a little bit to get ahead in the counts, whereas in the first few innings of the game, he was ahead with 2 strikes and maybe 1 ball. Now he is getting behind in these counts to a good chunk of the Stuttgart Reds hitters. He's able to notch it back 1 strike. 3-1 is the count, but there is action in the Hünstetten bullpen. Not sure who it is. They are warming someone up. We'll see if he comes in soon or if they try to ride Ian Hardman a little bit further into the game. Hard hit line drive to the left side. Third baseman stretches to try to catch it. It bounces past the left fielder and rolls all the way to the fence. Daniel Abila is able stand-up double. It scores 2 more runs for the Stuttgart Reds. And the coach for the Hünstetten Sturm is now going out to the mound. There is a pitcher jogging in from the bullpen. I will give you who that is once I see his jersey number. Coach pulling in the team, hopefully for a pep talk. And we will be right back with you to continue the bottom of the 4th inning. So with the pitching change for the Hünstetten Sturm, that now pitching is number 42, Dave Paradela. And he will be, his first batter that he will throw to is number 7, Danilo Weber. He's playing left field today. Comes into the game with 2 outs and a runner on second base. First pitch is a strike. Strike number 2 is also a strike. Reds are going to have a little adjustment from pitching. I think he's doesn't have quite the same speed as Hardman, but as we see, he's able to throw strikes, which is definitely an advantage in a pitcher. Next pitch is a little slower, low outside for ball number 1. Big swing, protect the plate, fouled out of the stadium beyond the net. His count stays at 1-2. Nice job from Danilo Weber of protecting his plate. So if you're new to baseball and the lingo, we say protect the plate when you have 2 strikes. So that means your strike zone as a batter gets a bit bigger. You're looking for anything that's close. You want to try to put the bat on it, make contact like Danilo did, where you have the chance of fouling it off. Pitcher, catcher both really like that pitch. The pitcher was already moving toward the dugout. Catcher hopped up, ready to throw the ball back to his pitcher. 2-2 is the count. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runner on second base. Ball high. Full count for Danilo Weber. He has the highest batting average for the Stuttgart Reds currently after last night's game. Reds are not hitting quite as well as they have in previous seasons. Ball 4, catcher then threw the ball all the way to second base to try to get Daniel Abiles sleeping. Not sure. I don't think he was that far off of the base. But catcher wants to try to get this 3rd out here in the bottom of the 4th any way he can. With the walk for Danilo Weber, that brings up number 30, first baseman Moritz van Bergen. Ball 1. Moritz van Bergen with the highest batting average for the Stuttgart Reds. Next pitch is a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to the first baseman. Both Moritzes on our team, first baseman and third baseman, will both be attending or working out with the under-18 German national teams soon or recently. Swing and a foul ball brings his count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Like I said, we have a runner on second base, runner on first base, and there are 2 outs. The Stuttgart Reds have done a good job of winning this 4th little game here. Ball low. Low enough that it was not in the strike zone. Ball number 2 for ball number 2. Beautiful day, sunny skies, little wind. Great day for baseball, great day for softball. For those of you who decided not to come to the stadium today, you're missing out. For those of you who are in a different country, in a different part of Germany, we definitely welcome you to the broadcast. Wish you could have been here in the stadium today, but we're glad you tuned in. So with the out at second base, that is the 3rd out and the end of the 4th inning here in Stuttgart. Score is 7 for the Stuttgart Reds, 2 for the Hünstetten Storm. Pitch one, strike one here in the top of the 5th inning for Dustin Ward. That brings up number 53 for the Hünstetten Storm. Ball hit hard at the shortstop, Xavi Gonzalez. He attempts the one-hop throw. Moritz van Bergen not able to scoop it up, and that puts number 53, Rogelio Maldonado, on base. First hit for the day. We'll see if they score it an error. And that could be considered a throwing error on Xavi Gonzalez. Either way, it puts a runner on base for the Storm. Brings up number 9, the designated hitter, Jannik Kiss. He flew out to second base in his first at-bat. I know I've talked about momentum, but this is a moment where the Storm kind of has to get some runners on base and score a couple runs. We're in the top of the 5th, so they don't have to come and tie it up in the top of the 5th, but it would be helpful for them from a score perspective and also from a momentum perspective if they could get a few runners on in this inning and get a few runs back. There's another strike from Dustin Ward. 1-2 is the count on the batter. Runner on first base. And that is strike 3 for Dustin Ward. Another strikeout on the day. Another one bites the dust, is playing in the stadium. Brings up number 2, Vicente Velasquez, the shortstop. He did reach on a hit in his last at-bat, so there's 1 out, runner on first base. We'll see if the Reds can shut any scoring opportunities down here in the top of the 5th. 1 ball, no strikes. Seems as if Ward has found his momentum since the bottom of the 3rd. Nice pitch for strike number 1. Ball is hit a high pop fly to the middle infield. Moritz Kulo calls off the shortstop, calls off the other infielders, and makes the catch for out number 2. First pitch swing for Jose Pimentel, second baseman. Last at bat, he did homer, bringing in 1 other person beyond himself. Runner on first, 2 outs, 1 strike. Ball low. Jannik Witt able to keep it in front of him, keeping the runner at first base. Ooh, batter. The bat just snapped. Not sure there was any contact on the swing. I think the bat must have already been broken, and with swing of such force, It completely broke, but so count is 1 ball, 2 strikes for Pimentel. Ball high, good look from Pimentel. 2-2 is the count. Signs coming from third base. And we'll see if they put something into play. Runner still being held at first base. Swing and fouled off. Nice throw from the umpire to the pitcher. And Ward throwing back to first. I will say, this is one time in baseball, I'm not sure why the pitcher throws to the first base, because there's 2 outs. The Reds are ahead by 5. Oh, and a nice strike 3 from Dustin Ward. They're ahead by quite a few runs, and I don't think the runner on first was going anywhere. But strike number 3 for out number 3, and that is the end of the top of the 5th inning. No answer from the Storm to the 5 runs of the Reds. Let's see if the Reds can keep the offense momentum going here in the bottom of the 5th.
Woke up in the morning, what a beautiful day. Sun's up and you're on your way. You make me feel so fine. Water sparkling on your skin, children laughing as you sing. Run around and round we go. Ooh, life, I love you so. Na, 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 na.
First pitch of the bottom of the 5th is a ball to Yannick Dents, right fielder for the Reds. He has reached both times today. Once on a single and once, or in last at bat, he walked. Next pitch is also a ball. Although this is the first time Yannick will be facing the new pitcher from the Storm. I'm not sure, I believe Yannick Dents must have called time very shortly before the pitch would have been delivered. Umpire called time pretty loudly, but the pitcher was already in motion, so it makes more sense for him to continue something looking like a motion. Ball fouled off to the right side into the netting. For the first strike, 2-1 is the count. Stuttgart Reds move into the bottom of the 5th with a score of 2-7. Next pitch is also a ball. There is once again action in the Hünstetten Storm bullpen. Big swing, hard ball hit center field. Drop step, makes a little spin move, able to make the catch for out number 1. That brings up number 69, Moritz Köhler. First pitch to him is a strike. He did reach or hit a single in his last at bat. Ball is hit hard to left field. Left fielder drop steps, makes a spin, unable to find the warning track or the outfield fence. And the ball, not sure if it hit off of his glove or not. Scoreboard is saying it's a double. The left fielder struggling definitely today, although the majority of the balls that have been hit into the outfield have been hit to left field. The Reds are working that left fielder pretty hard. 1 out, runner on second base. That brings up the catcher, Yannick Witt. First pitch to him is also a strike. Swing and a miss. Strike number 2. Runner on second base, 1 out. 0-2 is the count. Swing. I think it may have gotten his toe, or he's just off balance from swinging at such an off-speed pitch. But like I said, it was, I don't know if it was close to the strike zone, but he kept himself alive, able to put the bat on the ball. Thankfully, it was in foul territory. I believe it did make contact with his left foot, front foot. 0-2 is still the count. Off-speed pitch, Yannick Witt able to stay back, hits it semi-hard to the shortstop. Shortstop fields it, throws it cleanly to first base for the out. It does move the runner from second to third base. And with 2 outs and a runner on third base, that brings up center fielder Jonas van Bergen. First pitch to Jonas is a ball. Jonas van Bergen was intentionally walked in his last at bat, did not see any pitches. That last pitch he saw was a called strike. Hard hit, choppy ground ball to the shortstop. He's able to get it on a short hop after the long hop and make a clean throw from an off-balance position. Nice play from the shortstop to get Jonas van Bergen at first base. That is 3 outs, end of the 5th inning, and we are moving into the 6th with a score of 2-7 for the Stuttgart Reds. Leading off in the top of the 6 is number 5, the catcher, Matthias Polanco. First pitch is a strike. Matthias has not yet reached base in this game. He's flown out in hard ground ball, second base. 0-2 is the count. Dustin Ward doing a good job of getting ahead in his counts in the last couple innings. From the outside, you see a ball in the dirt, but he's ahead in the counts. He's trying to stay outside, maybe change up his speeds while he's ahead, so he has those 3 balls to kind of work with. Unfortunately, Vit was not able to handle it on the outside corner. High swing and a miss for another strikeout for Dustin Ward, and out number 1 here in the top of the 6th inning. And that brings up number 96, the third baseman, Victor Velasquez. Velasquez walked in his last at bat. Swing ball fouled into the netting on the right side. That is a ball. 2-1 is the count. Nicely framed pitch from Yannick Vit, does not catch the corner. So says the umpire. 3-1 is the count. Ball fouled back directly behind home plate, line drive into the netting. And that is a called third strike. Victor Vasquez does not agree. He's starting to run up the first base line. Reds having a little trouble throwing the ball around after these strikeouts today. The last one, it passed the shortstop. This time they threw it over the pitcher. And that is out number 2, 2 strikeouts for Dustin Ward. That brings up number 8, the center fielder. A little chin music to the center fielder. That brings his Matt McElroy has yet to reach base today. And we'll see if this is his chance. There are 2 outs, no runners on for the Hünstetten Storm. Hard hit line drive into center field. Center fielder Jonas Fabergen slides to try to make the catch, does not keep it in front of him. Nice backup from Yannick Dent, gets the ball into second, which keeps the batter at first base, keeping him to a single. And that brings up number 44, Robert Vondi, the first baseman. Has also not reached base today. Dustin Ward throwing to first base, keeping that runner there. He does, I believe he does already have a stolen base on the day. Again, from a softball perspective, the keeping him at first base with an actual throw. Always uncertain when you're ahead 5 and you're moving into the later innings of the game. Softball perspective, we just want to pitch and get to the next pitch. There are a couple pitchers in the bullpen for the Stuttgart Reds. There is no action. They have just moved there for security purposes, I guess you could say. Dustin Ward is doing a good job here in his later innings of getting ahead of the batters. 0-1, for example, on number 44, first baseman. Well, that is a ball high. Robert Vondi takes the next pitch for a ball. Signs are given from third base coach. Vondi steps in. Elroy takes his lead at first base. And Dustin Ward makes another throw to first. McElroy walks back to first base. Ball low. Scooped from Yannick Witt. Two and one is the count. There are 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Runner on first base. Hard hit to left field, drop step. Danilo Weber not able to get it. It bounces off the wall. He makes the throw in. Runner safe at third base. Batter stays at first base. Excuse me, runner. Yeah, so with the long single from Vondi, that brings the runner from first to third, McElroy, and Vondi is at first. Still 2 outs here. Yannick Witt, the catcher for the Reds, is in front of the plate giving signs. Making sure his defense, his team knows what they're doing should the ball be hit to them. That brings up number 31, Phil Maya, the left fielder. He's had a tough job on defense today. A lot of the Reds' hits have ventured into left field. First pitch strike from Dustin Ward. We'll see if Dustin Ward answers with another strike, getting farther ahead, and that is a swinging strike. Big swing from Phil Meyer. Off-speed pitch, which does catch the batter. He did turn away from it, but there was contact made, hit by pitch, first of the day for Dustin Ward. That loads the bases, but the Reds have 2 outs still here in the top of the 6th. We'll see if they can get one more here without allowing any runs. And brings up number 53, the right fielder, Rogelio Maldonado. Rogelio reached in his last at bat. Ball high. Bit of a pressure situation for Dustin Ward and the Stuttgart Reds. Bases are loaded. There are 2 outs. The Reds do have a 5-run lead here in the 6th inning, but things can change one pitch at a time, one swing at a time. Hopefully Dustin Ward can handle the batter here. This is a big swing from Rogelio. Unfortunately, in these situations, you want to be the hero. You want a big swing, maybe hit a home run. But normally, in this case, it's always better to look for contact, hit the line drive, hit the hard ground ball through the infield. The Reds are still playing at a normal depth. They're not playing up because they do have 2 outs. Hard swing, fouled to the backstop. Fouled hard enough that it bounces off and almost reaches the umpire. One and two is the count to the Bundesliga baseball veteran at bat. Runners on. They're ready. They have taken their leads. Wind up. And that is a ball high. 2-2 is the count, so Dustin Ward's still ahead on the count. 2 strikes to the batter. He still has at least 1 ball he can kind of work with. Something he can move it around, maybe throw a ball that's not quite a strike. Try to get the batter, keep the batter swinging. Unfortunately, that is... Oh, excuse me, I thought that did hit the foot of the batter. Seems not. But that was a good job by Yannick Witt, keeping the ball in front of him, keeping it at the plate, which did not allow any runs to score. Nice job from Yannick Witt. That does bring the count to a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Two outs, bases loaded, full count on the batter, right fielder. And that is a swing and a miss, unfortunately for the Hünstetten Sturm, but fortunately for the Stuttgart Reds. They remain unscathed in top of the 6th, even though the bases were loaded. We are back in action for the bottom of the 6th inning. First pitch to Jonas Weber fouls it off to the left side. And Jonas is playing second base in today's game. He got on base, or he reached base in his last at bat on a walk. 1-1 is the count. For those of you at home, well, you're all at home, but for those of you who are interested, there's a little action in the Stuttgart Reds bullpen. We have at least one guy up throwing. Of course, we never know when they may or may not come into the game. Time was called on the at-bat. Once again, right before the windup, no pitch. ball in the dirt. 2-1 is the count. And again, I am impressed by the arm of the umpire behind the plate. Strike 2 to Jonas Weber. Look pretty good to me. A little right down the plate. 2-2 is his count. A little behind. He's going to be protecting. Hopefully anything is good. Hard swing, high fly ball to right field. Right fielder gets his glove in front of the sun and able to make the catch for out number 1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. That brings up number 22, shortstop for the Stuttgart Reds, Xavi Gonzalez. Xavi has reached base in each of his at-bats, once from a fielding error, one time on a walk, and the third time, his last at-bat, it was a fielder's choice. First pitch to Gonzalez is a ball. Next pitch is a strike. Xavi chatting with the catcher. Hopefully he was just congratulating him on a nice frame of the pitch. Swing, hit it hard to the third baseman. He bobbles the ball, makes a throw. It is high and wide and makes it over a jumping first baseman's head. There are concrete walls behind first base, so when any of the infielders are throwing and it makes it past the first baseman, if it's thrown hard enough, that ball is going to bounce back pretty hard, or a bit excessively, as it did in this case. So the ball bounced back and was fielded back in the field of play. That brings up number 42, designated hitter Daniel Abiles. He's had a great hitting day today. Has at least four RBIs to his name. He comes up to bat with a runner on first base and 1 out. First pitch is a ball. Not sure. I guess I found another difference in between softball and baseball. So Xavi Gonzalez ran through first base and then he turned to the left into the field of play. When you do that in softball, you become, or you stay, an active runner. So if the ball flew off of our fence that hard and a position player then tagged him before he got back to first base, he would have been out. In this case, thank goodness he's not. So the count to Daniel Abiles. He hits it hard up the middle. Shortstop is able to catch it, tags second, throws to first, where he is also out. Double play for the Hünstetten Storm. I'm not quite sure. There's some discussion between shortstop and Xavi Gonzalez. There was contact between Gonzalez and the shortstop. From my perspective, it seemed to be a bit of normal contact. He did make a slide into second base. I think the shortstop thought it was a direct slide into him. Umpire did not call it. It was a safe slide, and we do have a pitching change for the Stuttgart Reds as we move into the top of the 7th inning. Dustin Ward finishes the day after a nice 6-inning outing. He had at least 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, allowed only 2 runs, and he gave up only 4 hits. That brings now Jose Mendoza to the mound. Mendoza, generally a starter, coming in today to maybe finish this game. First pitch from Mendoza is a strike. He will face number 9, Yannick Kiss, designated hitter for the Storm. Next pitch, swinging strike. Oh, and 2 is the count. And called a ball on the, must have been a little too outside. 1 and 2 is the count to Kiss. Ball is hit. It bounces off the plate. High bounce in the air, and then once it hits the grass, it died. Infield single for Yannick Kiss. That's how it will read in the scorebook. That brings up the top of the lineup once again for the Storm, Vicente Velasquez. Singled in 1 at-bat. Nice first pitch strike from Mendoza. And he got him. Mendoza able to pick off the runner, Yannick Kiss, at first base. That is 1 out here in the top of the 7th for the Stuttgart Reds. Ball is put in play. Choppy ground ball to third base. Moritz Köhler is able to handle it. He gets a throw, a decent throw from deep in foul, from a little bit in foul territory, but Vicente Velasquez is very quick runner, so that is another infield single for the Storm. We'll see if Mendoza can pick him off again at first base. Chances are rather low. I think the Storm are going to be a little bit closer to first base now they've seen one of their teammates get picked off. It brings up number 99, Jose Pimentel. Mendoza and Pimentel, friends who played and pitched together last season here with the Reds. One and 0. Swing and a miss for strike number 1. Runner on first base, 1 out, top of the 7th. Hünstetten Storm are running out of opportunities to get some hits and some runs on the board. If the Reds have anything to say about it, they're just going to keep closing down on those opportunities. Nice pitch from Mendoza. I guess it was a bit outside or low. Yannick liked it. Told his pitcher so before he threw it back. 2-1 is the count to Pimentel, second baseman. Ball high. Brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. Wind up, and it is a swinging strike. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. Brings it to a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes for Jose Pimentel. And that is a swing and a miss for strike number 3. I think I see a smirk on Mendoza's face. Got to be hard to strike out a friend. But that is out number 2 for the Hünstetten Storm. Brings up number 5, Matthias Polanco, who is the catcher in today's game, doing a great job behind the plate. Mendoza has called time. He's in a bit of a squat crouching position. Not sure if he's hurt or one of his teammates is bringing him out some water. We'll take a little break, see what's going on. I guess a little bit of water did the trick. And we are back in business. Like I said, with the catcher for the Storm. Doing a great job behind the plate today. And now let's see if he can contribute to his team on the offensive side. First pitch is a strike. A little bit of activity in the Storm bullpen for those interested. Next pitch, strike 2. I think it must have been superpower water. Mendoza's coming firing. 2 strikes, no balls, 1 out. There is still a runner on first base, although due to the successful pickoff attempt of his teammate, he seems to be hanging a bit closer to first base. A little bit of off-speed pitch ball is fouled off to the left side, out of play. Martias does stay alive. 2 strikes, you're being aggressive. Anything that's close you want to put a bat on. He's doing a good job of that. And ball hit hard to the shortstop. He does bobble it, able to dive, get the ball, toss it to second base to Jonas Faber. They do get the force out at second base for the 3rd out and the end of the top of the 7th. Just a little shout out to those of you writing on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Greetings to those in Aruba and I believe South Carolina. I appreciate your encouragement. I feel a little rusty, haven't called a Reds TV game in a while, but it's always appreciated, and we always appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. To start off the bottom of the 7th inning, we have the left fielder Danilo Weber. He's hitting 3 in the lineup today. He has reached base twice, both on walks. Pitcher's making quick work. 1-1 in his count. Ball hit hard to the third baseman, takes his time, nice little side shuffle, makes a good throw, and gets Danilo Weber out at first. That brings up our number 4 hitter, Moritz van Bergen, playing first base, doing a good job, helping out his teammates with some good stretches. Hits hard the first pitch to the shortstop, fields it cleanly, and makes a clean throw for out number 2. And that brings up number 3, Yannick Dens, right fielder for the Reds. He has reached twice. He did pop out in his last at-bat to center field. Hünstetten, pitcher, doing a good job working quickly against these Reds batters, getting ahead still. Dave Paradella doing a good job of getting ahead on the batters. Not sure if his pitchers are looking very good, but the Reds are being pretty aggressive early on in their counts. And that grazes the arm or elbow of Yannick Dens, hit by a pitch, and he is on base. Runner on first base, 2 outs. That brings up number 69, third baseman Moritz Kulo. Sorry, Moritz. And he hits it hard first pitch to the shortstop, who makes a nice toss to second baseman for the force out at second base. And that is a quick 3 up, 3 down for the Stuttgart Reds, or for the Hünstetten Sturm on defense. Pitcher doing a good job of getting ahead of batters. And the Reds were aggressive in hitting, but unfortunately they did hit it directly to infield position players. That is the end of the 7th inning. So we're back. Top of the 8th. Mendoza will face the third baseman for the Storm, the 4th hitter in the lineup, playing third base, Victor Velasquez. First pitch is a ball. Velasquez reached base back in the 4th inning on a walk. Second pitch is also a ball. Excuse me, third pitch is also a ball. 3-0 is the count. And that is a strike. (3-1) is the count. And that is ball 4. Mendoza's working very quickly on the batters. A bit of a quick pitch. Unfortunately, they are not hitting the zone. That brings up the center fielder, Matt McElroy. He reached in his last at-bat, line drive to center field. Let's see if the Storm can do something here in the top of the 8th. 2 more opportunities to get on base, get a few hits, and score a few runs. First pitch is a strike. And that is a ball outside. Nice spot from Mendoza. Nice job by Vitt keeping the frame there. He liked that spot from his pitcher. 1-1 is the count. Runner on first base. Ball is high. Two and 1 is the count to McElroy. Next ball is also high. Yannick Vitt giving the slow it down, bring it down, you got this hand signal to his pitcher. Reds are still leading 2-7 here in the 8th inning. And that is a strike. Brings the count to a full count, 3-2. I think McElroy thought that was a little too far outside. Umpire thought differently. 3-2 is the count. Runner on first base. No outs. Good opportunity for the Storm to put a couple through. Ground ball to the second baseman. Tosses, excuse me, yes, to the second baseman. Toss it to the shortstop. Someone is being thrown out. So the play on the field, ground ball hit to the second baseman. He tossed it to the shortstop. Shortstop turns a double play to first. The runner, McElroy, is then out at first base. I'm not sure if something was said on the field or if there was some type of gesture. The umpire immediately reacted and threw him out. McElroy is not happy with the decision. I don't think anyone's ever happy about being thrown out. Sorry, I don't have any more information for you. There must have been some exchange, a couple exchanges down on the field that we are not privy to here up in the box. It would be great if all the players were mic'd up, but excuse me, he was not out at first base. So it was not a double play, but it was an out at second base. The runner at first, McElroy, was called safe, but there was some interaction that has happened during his at-bat or after he was called safe at first base. The umpire immediately threw him out. He is now leaving his team's dugout. The umpire will not let the game continue until he has left. There is now a pinch runner in for McElroy, number 29, and I need a moment to figure out the name of that player. I believe it is Max Schultz. he is coming in to at least pinch run. I'm not sure if he'll stay in on defense. But that then now brings up the next batter, number 44, Robert Vondi. And that is a hit by pitch from Mendoza. There's a whole lot of unwritten rules I probably could get into about baseball at the moment, but I'm not going to explain all of them. But that is a hit by pitch to Vondi. That brings up number 31, the left fielder Phil Meyer. There is now a runner on second, runner on first, and only one out here in the top of the 8th inning. We'll see if the Hünstetten Storm can get something going with base runners and less than 2 outs. And that is a strike. That is a big swing and a miss from Phil Meyer. Oh, and 2 is the count. Mendoza way ahead in the count. Has plenty of pitches to work with. We'll see if he throws him another off-speed pitch low or another pitch that looks low, but is, and he throws what I think should have been a curveball. 1 and 2 is the count to the batter. And the ball is hit hard, put into play. Shortstop, Xavi Gonzalez, to second baseman. Giannis Weber able to get the out at second, not able to get the runner out at first base. Runner from second advances to 3. Yannick Witt, catcher for the Stuttgart Reds, up in front of home plate once again, giving some signs so that everyone in the infield and on the field knows what's happening. 2 outs, runner on third, runner on first. That brings up number 53, Rogelio Maldonado. First pitch is low for a ball. (2-0) is the count. Runner being held at first base. Third, short, second, seemingly at normal depth. Shortstop Xavi Gonzalez fields it cleanly behind second base, moves forward to step on the bag for the 3rd out and the end of the top of the 8th.
Up and you're on your way. You make me feel so fine. Water sparkling on your skin, sugar laughing as we sing. Round and round we go. Ooh, life, I love you so. Na, 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 na.
Now batting in the bottom of the 8th is the catcher for the Stuttgart Reds, number 6, Yannick Witt. He is hitting against number 52, Jean Rizzo, if I'm saying his name correctly. And now playing in center field is number 36, Daniel Martin. One and two is the count for Yannick Witt. Nice. A good eye on the last pitch. Ball hit high, fouled off behind the net. Ball low. 2 and 2 is the count to Yannick Witt. Maybe the Reds could tack on a few runs here just to keep the hitting momentum going. Ball hit choppy into the ground. First baseman able to handle it, step onto first base for out number 1. Now batting is number 26, center fielder for the Stuttgart Reds. Pitcher number 52 is working very quickly against these batters, Jean Rizzo. Next pitch a little high. Brings Jonas's count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big swing from Jonas van Bergen for strike number 3, out number 2. Ball in the dirt. Ball 1. Big swing at a low pitch, fouls it off behind home plate. 1-1 count to Jonas Weber. And big swing and a miss. 1-2 is the count. Jonas, hopefully now, short swing, just looking for contact. Protecting his plate with 2 strikes. Big swing, kind of just throws his hands at it. High fly ball to left field. And the left fielder makes the catch. Does a good job of getting under it for out number 3. And the end of the 8th inning. Score still stands 2 for Hünstetten Storm and 7 for the Stuttgart Reds. Leading off the last opportunity for the Hünstetten Storm is Yannick Kiss, designated hitter for the game today. He's reached once in his last at-bat. First time against Mendoza. And that is a swing and a miss. 2 strikes, no balls. And low pitch. Good no ball, 2-strike pitch. You want to skirt the zone, but maybe not be directly in the zone. Off-speed pitch for strike 3. And that brings in number 2, shortstop Vicente Velasquez. He did reach in his last at bat. We'll see what he can do now. Ball hit high behind the plate into the net. Oh, and 1 out, no runners on. Another foul ball way out of the ballpark. Behind home plate. Big swing, big contact, but a big foul ball. Long strike for strike number 2. No balls, 2 strikes for Mendoza. Ball high. 1 and 2. Big swing to protect the plate. Kind of gulfs it to the right side. Gets out of play. One and 2 is still the count. Ball hit choppy up the middle. Second baseman Yannis Weber able to make it, throws off balance, and gets the out at 1. Impressive. It's a quick runner. So it'd have to come forward, throw off balance, still make a good throw for your first baseman for out number 2. That brings in number 99, Jose Pimentel. Reached base twice, once in a walk, and he hit his home run. He has since struck out both times. Big hit, pop fly. Seems like shortstop third base, and it is caught by shortstop Xavi Gonzalez for the final out. And that is win number 2 in the series for the Stuttgart Reds. Win goes to Dustin Ward. And congratulations to the Stuttgart Reds. Nice game to the Hünstetten Storm. We thank you for spending your afternoon or your very early morning with us. We always appreciate the views, the likes, and the engagement on our social media platforms for Red TV and for the Stuttgart Reds. We hope you have a great rest of your Saturday, and we will see you next week. I'll have to... I'm not sure exactly when the boys are playing next week, but you can find... They're playing, actually, we're going to check that real quick, and I'm just going to keep talking. We're playing Friday night here in the stadium. That means you will have the opportunity to watch Reds TV. It's an evening game for us here in Europe, so for those of you in the United States, a little midday afternoon action. But once again, I just want to thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. And we hope you enjoyed our broadcast. And we will see you soon. Thanks so much.